Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a world of glitz and glamour today, the Roaring Twenties.
Ah, the Jazz Age.
Yeah, and specifically F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby.
A classic.
Definitely. We'll be using excerpts from the novel itself
Right, from the source.
to uncover the layers of meaning in this American masterpiece. What do you say? Ready to step back in time?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
So we meet Nick Carraway, our narrator, right as he arrives in West Egg.
New money, big parties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right next door to the mysterious Jay Gatsby. What are your first impressions of Nick?
Well, he seems to want to come across as objective, you know?
Judgment-free.
Yeah, like when he says, whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had.
Interesting. Makes you wonder, what advantages has Nick had?
Well, he's from a well-off family, went to Yale, he's a war veteran.
So he's seen a thing or two.
He has. And that definitely shapes his view of the whole West Egg scene.
The extravagance, the excess.
It's like he's drawn to it, but also a little wary.
Like he doesn't quite belong.
Exactly. And that tension is there throughout the whole story, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Now, Gatsby's parties are legendary. They practically define the Roaring Twenties. But Gatsby himself is this enigma.
Oh, the rumors about him are
A
wild.
German spy, a murderer, even the books in his library are a source of gossip.
Remember Owl Eyes? Completely shocked to find out the books are real.
Not just for show.
Right. And I think that's symbolic, you know? It's all about facades, illusions surrounding Gatsby.
So he's putting on a show.
Maybe. Why go to such length, though? I think it all comes back to Daisy Buchanan.
Nick's cousin, the object of Gatsby's affection.
You could say everything Gatsby does is to win her back.
And Daisy is married to Tom Buchanan. Old money, powerful, very dominant.
Oh, absolutely. And their marriage is, well, let's just say Tom has a mistress, Myrtle Wilson.
Whose husband owns a gas station in the Valley of Ashes.
That place, it's described as this desolate wasteland.
With those giant eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg watching over everything.
Like some kind of judgment. Right.
It adds this whole layer of class and morality to the story.
For sure. So we have Nick observing it all, Gatsby yearning for Daisy, Tom caught in his affair.
And this stark contrast between West Egg and the Valley of Ashes.
Where's Fitzgerald taking us with all this? Well, through Jordan Baker, a friend of Daisy's, we start to unravel Gatsby's past.
His obsession with Daisy.
And his grand plan to win her back. That's where things get interesting.
So Jordan tells Nick how Gatsby and Daisy met years ago, fell in love.
But Gatsby went off to war.
And never forgot her. Imagine building your entire life around reuniting with someone.
It's both romantic and incredibly sad.
That longing for something maybe you can never have.
Yeah.
And then we have that awkward first reunion between Gatsby and Daisy at Nick's house.
Gatsby's a nervous wreck, knocking over a clock.
He disappears into the kitchen.
But he also reveals to Nick how he made his fortune.
And it raises some questions about his true identity.
Right. He mentions this business connection with Meyer Wolfsheim.
Doesn't sound like the most reputable guy.
Not at all. Turns out Wolfsheim is a gambler. Fixed the World Series, remember?
So Gatsby's wealth, his image, starts to crumble. But Daisy seems drawn to him anyway.
Drawn to this idealized version of him.
It makes you wonder, what does Daisy really want? True love or something more elusive?
That's the question, isn't it? And then Tom, he sees the shift in Daisy and he gets jealous.
Which leads to that explosive confrontation at the Plaza Hotel.
Things are about to get messy.
That Plaza Hotel scene, you can feel the tension.
Oh, absolutely, like a powder keg about to blow.
And Gatsby, he begs Daisy to say she never loved Tom.
Trying to rewrite history.
To erase the past. But is that even possible?
I think it shows Gatsby's biggest flaw, you know? He can't accept that the past is the past.
And Daisy, she knows it too, deep down.
She can't just pretend those years with Tom didn't happen.
So it's a victory for Gatsby, but also kind of a defeat.
Yeah, because her confession is forced.
It exposes the cracks in their relationship.
Exactly. And Tom, oh boy, he sees his chance, right? Jealousy, protecting his pride.
He reveals Gatsby's bootlegging operation.
Tears down that carefully crafted facade.
Right in front of Daisy.
Shows her Gatsby doesn't belong in her world.
It's painful to watch Gatsby try to defend himself.
Trying to hold on to this dream that's slipping away.
And Daisy, caught in the middle.
Reeling from it all.
Torn between these two men. Gatsby's love.
And the security, even if it's flawed, that Tom offers.
In the end, she makes a choice.
Reflecting her values, maybe, or the expectations of her class.
That drive back from New York, you can sense the dread.
Gatsby's yellow car, once a symbol of his success.
Now it feels like a bad omen.
Daisy's driving. She's terrified.
Then in the Valley of Ashes, tragedy strikes.
Myrtle Wilson running into the road.
Mistaking Gatsby's car for Tom's.
Killed instantly.
It's brutal. It highlights the recklessness of the wealthy elite.
And Gatsby, he takes the blame.
To protect Daisy?
He tells Nick, "Of course I'll say I was. You see, when we left New York, she was very nervous, and she thought it would steady her to drive."
Unwavering devotion, but also delusion.
He'd sacrifice anything for her.
Even though it's becoming clear she won't do the same for him.
He spends the night outside her house, watching over her.
While Tom is inside, comforting her.
Manipulating the situation.
Sealing Gatsby's fate.
That image of Gatsby alone in the moonlight.
It's haunting.
The futility of chasing a dream that's already gone.
And Nick, he sees the emptiness of it all.
The hollowness of Gatsby's world.
The emptiness of the American dream, maybe?
He says about Gatsby, he invented just the sort of Jay Gatsby that a 17-year-old boy would be likely to invent, and to this conception he was faithful to the end.
He becomes a victim of his own creation.
And the people who came to his parties, they never really knew him.
You're attracted to the spectacle, the illusion.
Which makes his funeral, with almost no one there, even more tragic.
He's shot by George Wilson, consumed by grief.
Misled by Tom's lies.
Even Gatsby's own father seems more impressed by his son's wealth.
Than by the man he was.
But Nick, he sees through it all.
The tragedy of Gatsby's yearning.
Chasing an impossible dream in a world obsessed with money and status.
And Nick starts to feel disgusted.
With Gatsby's world.
With the shallowness of the wealthy elite.
He ends things with Jordan Baker.
Seeing her dishonesty as a symptom of a deeper rot.
She tells him, "I was incurably dishonest." She wasn't able to endure being at a disadvantage.
A chilling confession.
And then there's Tom in that final encounter.
No remorse.
Blind to the pain he's caused.
He's protected by his privilege.
A sense of entitlement that lets him escape consequences.
That's what makes him dangerous.
So Nick leaves West Egg, heartbroken, disillusioned.
He carries the weight of Gatsby's tragedy.
A tragedy that exposes the dark side of the American dream.
Now we have to grapple with the deeper meaning, right?
So many layers to this story. So many questions. What do you think, in the end, what's Fitzgerald trying to say about the American dream? About love? About chasing happiness?
I think that's what makes The Great Gatsby so powerful, you know? There are no easy answers. It makes you really think about your own values, what you want out of life.
Gatsby's story, it draws you in, but it's also kind of a warning. He gets everything, the wealth, the image, but it's all built on this lie.
This yearning for something he can never have.
Yeah, the past. What about that green light, though? That image at the end of Daisy's dock. What do you make of it?
Such a strong symbol, right? For me, it represents Gatsby's hope, but also this illusion.
The illusion of happiness.
Exactly. Something he can never really grasp. The closer he gets to Daisy, the more that dream seems to fade.
Like chasing a mirage.
Yeah.
And in the end, he's destroyed, not just by his death, but by the emptiness of it all.
The emptiness of the pursuit.
He becomes a tragic figure, the American dream gone wrong.
Right. We talk a lot about Gatsby, but what about Daisy? People see her as shallow, heartless even.
Do you think that's fair?
Well, I think it's more complicated. She's a product of her world, right? Immense wealth, where happiness means possessions, social status.
She is trapped in a loveless marriage.
To Tom, who embodies everything she's always known.
But there are moments where you see her yearning for something more.
A deeper connection.
But she's afraid to break free.
Exactly. And she has those moments with Gatsby, but ultimately,
she chooses the security of Tom's world.
A compromise, reflecting her values maybe, or her inability to escape her class.
And Nick, watching all this unfold, he's changed by it.
Oh yeah. He sees the beauty and the ugliness.
The allure of the American dream and the danger.
He comes to West Egg so naive.
Believing in happiness, fulfillment.
But he learns the hard way about wealth, class, ambition.
He leaves disillusioned.
Haunted by Gatsby's tragedy.
Which speaks to something bigger than just this story, doesn't it?
It does. That ending, with Gatsby's parties ending, the music stopping, the guests gone.
Like a metaphor.
Yeah, for the fleeting nature of happiness, the emptiness under the surface of it all.
And Gatsby all alone.
Holding on to a dream that's already gone.
A powerful reminder that chasing happiness can lead you down a dark path.
The Great Gatsby, it doesn't tell you what to think.
But it makes you think.
About what you want, the choices you make, what really matters.
When it comes down to it, yeah.
In the face of all that glitters, you know, the pursuit of wealth.
So much to consider.
A lot to unpack, for sure.
As we wrap up this deep dive, what does The Great Gatsby say to you? What resonates? Gatsby's yearning, Daisy's choices, mixed disillusionment. Keep exploring, keep questioning. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the heart of the Roaring Twenties.